Hi guys, so today we'll be solving this problem called increasing triplet subsequence. Let's read it. Given an integer array nums, return true if there exists a triple of indices I, j, k such that I is less than j is less than k and nums of I is less than nums of j is less than nums of k. If no such indices exist, return false. Right. So we've been given this array and we need to return true or false depending on if there is a triplet subsequence such that we have three indexes I, j, and k, where I is less than j is less than k, and nums of I, like the elements which are at index I and elements which are at index j and elements which are at index k, are basically following this pattern, and we need to return true if it's possible and return false if that's not possible, right? So in the first example, if you see, so we have 1, 2, 3, right? 0, 1, 2. So 0 is less than 1 is less than 2. And all the elements itself, 1 is less than 2 is less than 3, right? So both of these things are possible, and we need to return true for that, right? Let's take the second example, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if we see here, so we have, let's say 5, we don't have any element lesser than 5. 4, no element lesser than 4. 3, no element less than 3. 2, no element less than 2. 1, no element less than 1, right? So we need to return false because no triplet exists for this, right? So the approach that we will follow will be something like, we'll create a variable, maybe like first, second, right? And we'll try to find that if any element, if it's, initially it would be, initialized to something like int max. And whenever we see any element lesser than int max, right, we'll just update it. So for example, I'll update the 5. When I'm at 5, I'll just update the first 5, right? And if I find any element which is less than first, I'll update the second, right? So I don't see anything here as less than second, but in the first example, if I have 1, right, 1 as the first element, and when I go to 2, I see that 2 is actually um, basically greater than 1, right? So I'll update the second. So second will be 2, right? And whenever I see that any elements which are greater than these two, I know that there is a triplet subsequence existing, right? So in that way, I'll just return true, otherwise I'll return false, right? This basically approach just have a time complexity of O of n because we're iterating through the array once, and also the space is O of 1 because, yeah, we are not saving anything, right? Let's get to the coding part in order to understand this a bit better. Let's get to the coding part. So first, I'll maintain first, which will be int max, and I'll maintain a second, which will also be int max, and I'll just iterate through the nums, right? And if I see that if I nums of I is less than or equal to the first, right, then I can just update first equal to nums of I, right? Else, um, else if nums of I is less than or equal to second, I can update the second as nums of I. Otherwise, I know that they are forming a triplet, so I can just return true, and that would solve it, right? And in the end, I just return false, and that would be it, right? So just iterating through nums of I, if there is any element which is less than the first, right? So first is storing the triplet subsequence that we are starting from, right? So if there's any element less than the first, I update the first value, right? And I start a triplet subsequence from there, right? And then if I find any element which is greater than first, but it's less than second, so I'll update the second, right? And then if I find the third element which is greater than first, greater than second, and I can form the third one, which is I'll return true that, hey, there is a triplet subsequence, right? So that is the idea. Let's run this code to see if everything is working fine. Yeah, that works. Cool. I hope you guys understood the problem. Thank you so much.